Welcome everyone to the Times NI Margadarshi Career Counseling Workshop in association with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. In these unprecedented times where there has been a complete shift in the evolution process of Class 12 board exams, we understand the challenges faced by students passing out of Class 12 in choosing the right career option for themselves. Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, an institution of eminence established in 2003, is a multidisciplinary deemed to be university that offers more than 180 academic programs through 10 departments across 6 campuses in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. It is the youngest institution to be awarded with an A++ grade by the NAC and has been ranked among the top 300 in the world and top 5 universities in India in the University Impact Rankings and the latest NIRF rankings, respectively. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Sudhir K, Ms. Lakshmi, Career Counselors, and Mr. Arun Bharti, Robotics Engineer from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Mr. Sudhir comes with almost 4 years of work experience, primarily into higher education, CSR, NGO schools. He has got hands-on experience in career guidance sessions and handling counseling teams, training, and development. Arun Bharti earned a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, worked as a robotics engineer for 2 years, and his specialization area is autonomous systems and industrial law. Lakshmi has completed MTech in computer science and engineering and has 4 years of teaching experience in different domains like CS and PCM in engineering colleges and polytechnic institutions. On behalf of Times NI and Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, we welcome students, principal, teachers, and parents of RMK Patishala, MCC Metric Higher Secondary School, VJN Chinmaya Vidyalaya Avdi, Chinmaya Vidyalaya Virgambakam, and Ramchandra Public School. Over to you, Mr. Sudhir.
Thank you, Radhika. Thank you for giving this opportunity to interact with students. Thank you, Times of India, because arranging all these things on a holiday is a huge effort from your side and from Times of India side. And I thank each one of you, the teachers who have taken this initiative to at least share this information about this session, because today the session topic is career guidance, because a lot of people thinks what these people will be speaking about. Career guidance means I have already decided which career I need to choose and all. So all these things you might, these kind of ideas will be circulating in your mind, thinking all these things are very much trivial. We will be thinking making a career decision is just as simple, like we can do it in a split second. It's not right. So making a career decision, there are a lot more things are involved. What are the factors involved in making a career decision? What kind of things are involved? You need to understand. Okay, so I will be helping you to understand how to make a career decision today and how to do these kind of career decisions easily. What are the steps involved? I will be explaining all these things. Before doing that, let me tell you about our university. As Radhika ma'am told, so our university is one of the premier institution in the country. We have 4 campuses and almost spread across 3 states. And our main motto today is to give you more value-based education. This is very much vital today. Whatever you have learned, whatever you have achieved, you should utilize for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the people which we live around. That is vital. Okay, and main thing is our university is collaborated with lot more foreign institutes, because you might be having a dream to complete your higher academics abroad, or you might be willing to do your final year abroad. That kind of opportunity also we can give. And all this is managed by one of the world renowned humanitarians, Sri Mata Amrita Annamayi. Okay, you might have heard about her. If you want more details, you can just visit our website, amrita.edu. And we not only offer engineering, we offer art, media, journalism, humanities, management, allied healthcare, medicine, sciences, and all. Almost 20,000 plus students are undergoing through these programs. Okay, and we have very good faculty. Almost 1,500 plus faculty are there available for you. Let's get back to today's topic. Okay, so how to plan your career? A lot of people today take a misguided step. Okay, misguided step in the sense what you will be told by your advisors or by your relatives, by an unknown entities also. You will tend to remember or inculcate those things. You will be thinking, if some person says there are no jobs in engineering, you will automatically pick up that line. And if some people say that career you can't earn more money, you will automatically pick up that line, and you will keep it in your mind and you will be thinking about that. Like I might not get good salaries in a particular career. I might not get good job opportunities in a particular career. Don't get into these kind of falsifying statements. Every career today can give you equal job opportunities, equal financial benefits or economical benefits, and lot of opportunities are available for you today. Based on which group you choose, there are opportunities and all. So plenty of opportunities are there. Today's industries or corporates, all these people are looking for students who got the right skill sets. I hope all of you are having that right skill sets. I will give you an example, small example, or importance of skills. Suppose all of you are using or owning a smartphone. Your father gave you 15,000 rupees to purchase a smartphone, right? If you want to go and purchase a smartphone, what you will look for? Please type your message, type your answer in the chat box. I want all of you to reply. If you want to purchase a smartphone, you have 15,000 rupees in your hand. What you will look for? Tell me, please. I want everybody to interact with me and everybody to give me the answer, because all of you know everything about smartphones, because you might be playing games, watching TikTok videos or Moj, whatever videos you are spending. Please message. Processor, Sarukesh, best quality, good quality. What quality? I want features. Jay Chandran got it right. Features. Any featured phones. Soundarya. Because if you want to purchase a smartphone, you look for features. The features in the sense, the storage. Girls like camera because they want beautiful selfies and all. And boys will be liking about processor, RAM and all because they want to play games. All these things you will be looking at if you want to purchase a smartphone, right? Likewise, if an industry or a corporate person wants to give you a job and pay you 50,000 salary or 1 lakh salary, what they will look for? Please type your answers. If an industry people, after completing your academics, or if a corporate people have to give you a job by paying you 50,000 per month, I think Bhavadharani got it right. Skills, our ability to manage things, good qualification, skill and talent. Harshini Sweta, very good. I can see a lot of people interacting. That is the importance of skills. What skills you have today? As a student of 11th, as a student of 12th, what skills you have today? What skills you are learning today in your class or outside? This is very much important. It is as simple as this. If you have 15,000, you like the features, you will be purchasing that smartphone. Likewise, if an industry is coming to hire you and give you a job, if they like the skill set, they will automatically give you what is your desired salary. It is as simple as that. You should understand the importance of skills. That's why you should understand making a career decision is as simple once you understood more about yourself, where you are, what kind of capability you are having. These are the 4 steps which are required to make a proper career. First thing is knowing about yourself. What are your interests? What you value the most? Value in the sense, some people value money because they want to earn more money. Some people want balance, work life, family life balance. Some people want to work outside. They don't want to stay at home at all. They want to go visit places, or they want to go work on site, go abroad and work. What you value. And some people want to help others. They don't care about money. These kind of things, what you value, what is your value? Because if you work in an NGO kind of thing, salary won't be high, but you might be helping others. Likewise, you need to understand what is your desire, what is your personality, what is your interest actually, and exploring all the opportunities. Today, if you are going to a shop to purchase a dress, you will ask the shop person to show all the varieties available in that price range. Likewise, when you are making a career decisions, are you looking at all the available career options? That is very much vital. Exploring all the possibilities today. What are the opportunities you have available at your hand for a particular group? Then narrowing it down. Then narrow your choice, because if you are going for shopping, you will see all the available designs, varieties, materials and all. Then you will narrow it down to two choices, like either it's or that. Please select. Likewise, in career also, first explore every opportunity you have, or every other what is a career path which is available in front of you. Then narrow it down to proper choices, 1 or 2 or 3 choices you should have. The third one is setting up a proper goal. Without setting a goal, today a lot of students, what are the mistakes they are doing is they won't think about the end point. They will only think, okay, I will take PCM group, but they won't think about what kind of job they need to do after completing this degree, what kind of company they want to join, what kind of lifestyle they want to have. You need to think about your end point and come back from there. And the fourth thing is making all this work, have that perseverance, have the discipline, have the dedication to make all this work. These are the 4 vital steps which are involved to make a proper decision. Okay, career decision is not as simple as you think, because it's very much important in life. You should not make a wrong step. Career is for life. Do not think about jobs. Jobs are temporary means to earn money. Career is for life. You will be building your career as you go along. That is why these 4 steps are essential. And a lot of people fantasize about a particular career because they will be thinking, I want to become a police by just looking a movie like Singham, or they want to become an astronaut. Likewise, they fantasize about some career. So fantasizing or getting inspiration from people and having that ambition is good, but you should understand the reality. Can your parents afford it? Because all of your parents are putting their hard-earned money for your benefit so that you can achieve greater heights, and they are putting all their effort in you. They are giving 100% so that you can have a better life in future by studying well. And what is the problem you have to get good grades? Nothing. Your parents are giving you everything. You just need to concentrate on your academics, because your father is faced with a lot of problems, maybe financial, maybe relationship or business relations. He's attacking all these things. He's trying to solve all these at once. Only one problem you have is get good grades. Read attentively, get good grades in 5 subjects or 6 subjects, whatever you're faced with. It's very easy. It's not that hard if you plan well. Okay, that likewise, having a realistic ambition is also vital. Can your parents afford it? Can your parents send you abroad? Because I can aim, I want to go abroad and sign, but can my parents afford it? You need to have that also in mind. Having a realistic ambition is very much vital, because ambition, I can't say to you just go and do a degree abroad, because more opportunities are there. You need to understand what's your capability. Parents' attitude also determines this. Every parent should understand what's his son's capability or daughter's capability today. Based on that only, they need to suggest things to them. Okay, the next step is, what are the errors? Don't do these errors, because a lot of parents today suggest streams or careers or branches based on their experience. But as a student, you need to do the research, give that awareness to your parents, because your parents might be interacting with 1 or 2, because today's parents are taking utmost care. They are getting guidance like this, and they are joining you in some premium schools, and you are getting this kind of advices. Not in everyday life you will be getting this advice, because I'm telling you, this is very much vital. Getting career advice is vital today. And don't get into particular streams just because your friend is joining. Because if your friend knows swimming, he will be jumping in the river. Do you do that if you don't know swimming? Don't do that. If you are really capable of that subject, or if you are having that subject knowledge, then only get into the same stream which your friend is joining. Don't follow crowd or mob mentality. A lot of people will be doing this error. They might be getting a government job, or they might be getting a job abroad. These kind of errors, please do not do. Okay, please note down these errors and all. And main thing is, after 12th, you have almost 600 career options. I want you students today, how many of you at least know 10 career options after completing 12th? Can the students in today's session raise their hands? 10 career options after completing 12th. There are 600 career options available today for you after completing 12th. How many of you know at least 10 career options? Because today if I ask you people what are the big brands, dress brands, you will be taking Pepe jeans, Levis, all these things you will be saying. You will be you won't have like you won't stop. Also some people won't stop, you will be saying all the big brands. Or if I ask you which brand mobile is good, you'll be saying OnePlus, MI, all these mobile names. Likewise in career also, you should have that awareness. What are the branches available today for a PCM students to get into? What are the competitive exams? We will give this awareness also today. My colleague will be telling you what are the competitive exams today available to you as a PCM student if you want to get into engineering, or as a PCB student if you want to crack medical. So what are the exams? We will give that awareness also in this session. Okay, so please do that research, that is very much vital. And if you are really interested in engineering, because engineering is one of the most sought out career in our country, I don't know where we got into this hype, but the opportunities are also there in engineering as of now, because there are a lot of specializations or branches available as a computer engineer, computer science, or a civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and all electronics and communication, biotechnology. Every stream is having its own opportunities. For a PCM students, it's easy to get into engineering if you are having good mathematical knowledge, because to survive as an engineer you should have good mathematical skills. Because in every subject, because people will be thinking, if I become electrical engineering or civil engineering, maths is not required. It's wrong. Maths is very much required in engineering, for every engineering, even chemical engineering also, robotics engineering also. For every engineering sector, maths is very much essential. So please think, if you are really interested in engineering, you should be improving your mathematical skills or analytical skills. And in math science students, what are the new age careers today booming? Why I am telling new age career? Because if you are going to pursue a career, you should understand its future opportunities, because after 4 years you will be joining job. So after 4 years, what kind of opportunities will be there in which branches? For a maths and science students, these are the current booming careers. Like people in artificial intelligence might have good opportunities, data analytics. My colleague will be giving you what are the applications today which we are using in these kind of new age careers. My colleague will explain you, my colleague Arun will explain you regarding this new age career options for maths and science. Okay, and the next field is medical side, because it's a most, what we say, wonderful career getting into medical side. If you want to become a doctor, it's very much hard to become a doctor, because you need to read a lot and you need to crack a competitive exam for every degree which you want to do in a premier institute. There are competitive exams involved. You need to solve, you need to crack them. And becoming a doctor, you require particular skill sets, because you should not judge a patient who is sitting in front of you. You should be treating them empathetically, and you should have that compassion towards them just by their appearance. Because every sect of patient, I mean, may either rich or poor, every kind of patients will be coming. You should not judge them, right? The patient sitting in front of you based on their appearance, you should treat them equally. That kind of skill is required today for medical students who are aiming to become a doctor. And you can become a doctor in dental, or you can become a doctor in Ayurveda or homeopathy, pharmacy, and or you can get into technical lab technician courses also, or you can get into BSc botany, geology, nursing, radiography, or you can get into agriculture and all. So our home science related courses also there, because today's trend is everybody want to be in a good shape. Everybody wants to maintain diet and all. Everybody want to maintain some nutrition and all these things are all. So these are some of the new age careers in for biology students, as I told. Because today everybody is very much aware of their health, because everybody is working from their home. Almost everybody, all means 70% of the people. So they are more aware of their health, they are more aware of their appearance now. They want to take care of these things. And optometry, audiology, and health tourism, dietitian, these are some of the things which are on the boom, or which might have more opportunities. Clinical research, hospital management, bioinformatics, and all, cognitive neuroscience. It's very much essential today, which you should look at. Because today after the session, I want all of you, if you are a PCB student, just go to Google and search, as a PCB students, what are the career opportunities, and as a PCM students, what are the opportunities, what will be the scope of particular career. Or as a commerce student, you can become an you can join an auditing firm, or you can join corporates and all, or you can become an analyst, or you can join banks. You can just complete B-commerce, or you can write competitive exams like to join or to become CA or company secretary. These are the things which are options which are available for commerce student, which you can take up. You can take BBA finance also, or you can take BCA computer applications also as a commerce student. These are the things which you should be taking as a commerce student. And what are the new age career options today available for you? That means this commerce students are having opportunities in this sectors. You can become a risk management analyst, because today lots and lot more startups are coming. Like there should be a person, you doesn't know the role, because everybody will be knowing about CEOs, but two more roles are very much crucial for every company to survive. One is chief technology officer. People only know about chief executive officer only. People will be talking about him only. But for the company to survive, CTO, chief technology officer, is very much required. The second one is CFO, chief financial officer. People won't talk about these people, but these people almost run the company. CEO is only the front end, the back end is these people. Okay, you should understand that as a commerce student, you can become a chief financial officer for a big corporate. You have that opportunity today, because being a developing nation, lots and lots of companies are coming today in our country, which you should understand. That means there is huge scope for commerce students. Or you can work directly in banks also as an analyst, or you can get into stocks and debentures also. This is also one option for you. Okay, so the main thing I want to tell you students is there are a lot more options for every sector. Like arts will be having a huge spectrum of opportunities. Arts, people will be having a dilemma, like arts means there is nothing much to study. But if you are an art student, you have a huge variety of options available for you. You can get into anything, pretty much anything. Like you can get into journalism, or you can get into communication design or interior design. You can just choose a specialization in this. Or you can get into sculpture, photography, teacher training, or you can get into management science, fine arts, event management, animation and multimedia, business studies, psychology, photography. Variety of options are there for art students today, which you need to understand what you like. As today you like designing, so do you want to get into textile design or fashion design or jewelry design, which you should understand. Okay, or you like only management kind of things, you just want to coordinate things, like you can get into event management. That is one thing, or hospital management is one thing. So likewise, you should understand what is the thing which you like the most, then you pursue that. Okay, and what are the new career options which are available today? Because today's career options for art students are, you can get into liberal arts, sound design, app design, graphical design, visual merchandiser, because lots and lots of new TV channels are coming, lots of journalists are required today, lots of people who work on the back end of a news channel, because we don't see the editors, we don't see the composers for this TV serials or the OTT platforms. So all these people are working in the background. If you only see the directors and actors to make a serial, there are a lot more technicians are required, right? All these audio functions or video functions are kept for those technicians. Later people used to attend that, because they did put more effort. That's why the whole team wants to be should be rewarded. That's why they used to conduct these audio functions and pre-release events, just to congratulate the people who did their effort until that point of time. You should understand that as an art student, there are opportunities for you today. Today I have given you importance about skills. Likewise, if you are really interested to know what kind of skills you have, please note down this link, www.mychoicemyfuture.com/Amrita. We will be posting this link in the chat box. This test will help you understand. It's not an academic test. Please do not think like they are conducting one more test and all. It's just a fun test where you can understand your skills. What kind of person you are. Are you a dedicated person? Look at all the people who are successful. They have a particular trait. They might be disciplined, they might be dedicated, or they might be hardworking. These kind of skills or strengths, what you have right now, this test can identify, and it will give you a 20-page report. You can beautifully read that report. It's self-interpretive, and you can understand about yourself only, because in any interview you go today, they will be asking, the first thing is, what are your strengths? If you're able to answer that, it can give you a lot more confidence. What are your strengths today? You should understand first. You should know about them first. Okay, but as a student in 12th standard, you should be looking forward to the future. What will be the future? What kind of opportunities are there? There might be more automation, and our behavior, consumer behavior will change, because today I am transferring 10 rupees or 20 rupees to the kirana shop just beside my house. I am not giving him money. I am just making him take digital payments only. Or a lot of people might work online. Education might move to more online platforms, and drug design and pharma companies might be on the rise. And artificial and machine learning applications, robots, drones, these kind of applications will be ample in the coming days, which you should have an idea about. Okay. And the main thing is, which I am telling you, you should look towards multidisciplinary learning, because today's career scope, whatever group you are choosing, you can work as in an IT firm, or you can work in a hospital, or you can work in any place. But you should be able to adapt to all these things, because you can see anybody, an IITian working in a hospital also you can see, or you can see a doctor working in an institution, you can see educational institution as a professor. Likewise, you should be having these kind of skills at adapting skills, adapting to new situations and all. And you should have good critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Today all of you are past 1.5 year getting classes or reading everything online. You forgot how to work as a team, how to collaborate with your friends. But to survive in a corporate world, working together as a team is very much essential. And you should have data literacy and digital literacy, because today technology is being used in every sector, not only engineering side, medical side also technology is used, art side also technology is used. You should understand the importance of it. You should have these skill sets for sure as a student, and you should look forward to learn these skills and all. And now my colleague Arun will be giving you a small presentation about what is the scope of the technical courses available today, because we can't explain all the scope of these courses. If time permits, we can meet you again and explain that. But today I have given you the brief intro about the scope, new age careers in engineering, or new age careers for PCM students. So what are those? What is the scope for those things, and what are the applications available for these things, and how to learn, and what is the scope of these things after 4 years, which you should understand. Because you should see, when you are purchasing a smartphone, you will be asking after 5 years it can work, right? That capability is there or not. Likewise, my colleague will be giving you a brief introduction for the scope of all the technical courses which are booming today, or today's blooming technologies. And Arun, I think you can take over the session from here and give the insights to students who are eagerly waiting for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sudhir. Let me just share my screen. Yeah. A very good evening once again. So in this, for the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll be giving you a walkthrough on the blooming technologies that's going to shape the future, that's going to create a revolution, and that has got a huge scope in the future as well. So here's the brief outline of what we'll be seeing. We'll be starting with the AI and machine learning, and then we'll take a glimpse at data analytics, big data and data science, and then slowly move towards ethical hacking. And from there, we'll jump to robotics, cybersecurity, and then have a brief about blockchain, and then Internet of Things. So let's start with the term artificial intelligence. The term itself is self-explanatory. When I say artificial intelligence, it is an intelligence that is created artificially. So we human beings have a special ability that differentiates us from other living creatures. That's what we call the sixth sense, most commonly called as the common sense. So this common sense gives us the ability to think and make a choice on the data that's available. So we human beings differ from other living creatures with this character. So the process of incorporating this human-like intelligence to machine is what we call artificial intelligence. So there are a lot of applications for artificial intelligence in the market, but let me just give you a brief on the major applications. So you would have heard of self-driving cars, cars that are on autopilot that doesn't require any driver. It can just drive on its own. You would have seen it in movies. Before it was just a fictional thing, but in the last 5 to 6 years, it has become a reality. So we do have self-driving cars running in the streets. So these autonomous cars have a very powerful AI engine, so that is helpful in making the path, choosing the path, avoiding obstacles, detecting obstacles, stopping and starting, and everything. And in healthcare, let's say in healthcare, AI gives an advantage in diagnosing a disease. So let's say if you want to diagnose any disease related to your heart, any cardiac related diseases, before the previous procedures used to be a little complicated and a little lengthier one. Still, we'll be able to diagnose it, but still it was a very lengthy one. But AI has given an edge over that. So AI, with just a retinal scan these days, the AI system is able to detect people who have a very vulnerable cardiac organ or any cardiac related problems. And in finance and banking, AI plays a vital role in detecting the transaction patterns and the fraudulent transaction patterns, so that it gives an edge over detecting and preventing fraudulent transactions and errors happening. And in social media, so let's take the example of YouTube. When I go watch a new video today, let's say I watch something related to sport, something related to cricket, where I see a video of Dhoni hitting a six. So the very next time when I go to YouTube, I can see YouTube suggesting me similar videos that is related to cricket or videos related to Dhoni. So how is this happening? Because there's an AI engine that's running behind. It just tracks your movement, it tracks your data, it analyzes and says, okay, this fellow is like interested in cricket and he is a fan of Dhoni, so he's watching more of Dhoni related cricketers. So let's start pushing him more cricket related videos so that he'll watch more videos. So in e-commerce, similarly, when you go purchase, when you would check for a product on Amazon or Flipkart, any e-commerce site, let's say go check for a laptop. So very next time I just go to the e-commerce site, I'll have a tab called things that you might like or of your similar interest. It will start showing up more laptops. So these are the major applications of AI. So now let's just jump to big data. So big data is nothing but it is massive volumes of unstructured and raw data from various sources. So it is like massive in the sense like we are talking in millions. So if you have to sort and figure out or find out a data, you'll not be able to do it. It will be so difficult. So the process of dealing with such data is what we call big data. So you might ask, where do we use such kind of massive unstructured data? Where do we get structured data? Because when we see a table or any data or any, how do I say? Let's say you take your school, for example, where they have student data. So you can say it's a structured data, because if I have to get the date of birth or phone number of a particular student, I can do it because it's structured data. Let's say maximum there will be 1,000 students in a school, or like 500 to 1,000 students for a particular grade. Let's say if we take 11th grade, I might have 500, maximum 1,000 students. So there the data is structured. So whereas there are other instances where the data is like unstructured, you don't have a structure, it's like a raw data. For examples, in weather forecasting, every day the data is different. Let's say today if the temperature is 26 and humidity is a certain value, and my chances of rain will be of different value. When I go to the next day or like 2 days later, the every data will change. Some data might be the same or there might be a slight difference, but there will not be any common pattern that's happening, because that's how the weather cycle works. It's very hard to find any pattern available. And since if it is like just 10 or 20 data, we can try to come up with a pattern or figure out a pattern. Since it is a data that we deal in millions, so how are people able to say you or give you weather prediction? Okay, tomorrow there is going to be weather, or day after tomorrow there is going to be weather. It's all based on the previous data that's been collected over the years. So that is millions of data. Using those data, you try to create a pattern, do an analysis, and then try to predict the upcoming weather predictions. So we'll see eventually how to make analysis or try to figure out pattern with such huge massive volumes of data. And then another major application is pharmaceutical drug evaluation. If a drug has to get an approval, it has to go through a series of testing with the different body conditions, different physical conditions, and people with comorbidities. There's a lot of use cases it has to undergo of testings. So there, big data, we get large chunks of unstructured data. And similarly in e-commerce as well, with the shopping pattern of customers. Okay, this person in Chennai is interested in mobile phones, and another person in Mumbai will be interested in clothing, and another person in Chennai will be interested in household related items. So these are unstructured data. You can't have easily you can't have a pattern or figure out a pattern. So dealing with such kind of data is what we call big data. So data analysis is I have a data, I have a set of data, and I try to create a pattern. There is a pattern. I figure out the trend, and using the trend and using the data, I'll try to make decisions, supporting decisions based on the information and the trend that I have. So for example, let's say with similar to what we saw in the YouTube example with AI. So if let's say I'm watching cricket video related to Dhoni, so the data and the AI engine analyzes the data and it says, okay, this fellow is like has been watching consistently cricket related videos. So let me start pushing him cricket related videos because there was a trend. So today I watched cricket video, tomorrow also I watch cricket video. So day after tomorrow also I just watch cricket video. Then the AI engine will get a pattern. Okay, every day this guy is watching a cricket related video, so which means is interested. So the engine is able to make a decision there. So this is what data analytics is all about. So these are the like some of the major applications. So social media, like how I said, the current example that I gave, YouTube, and healthcare. Healthcare for it can give an idea on number of people in a particular age category getting affected by a disease or getting affected by deficiency and the symptoms pattern that's being shown. So all this data can be analyzed using data analytics. Similarly, in e-commerce, the buying pattern can be analyzed, and advertising as well. Let's say we take the mass media, television. So if there's a show that is getting telecasted at 7 to 7:30 and it has got a huge TRP. TRP is nothing but the rating, number of people who are interested in the show and number of people who are viewing. So if the TRP is very high, which means I can make a informed decision. Okay, if I have to address my or take my product to a huge number of people, to more number of people, I'll have to place my advertisement of my product during the 7 to 7:30 slot. So I'm able to make an informed decision with the analysis or the trend pattern that I have. So first we did see big data. Big data is a huge chunk of raw data, which is unstructured, whereas data analytics is trying to figure out the pattern. After figuring out the pattern, using the pattern, making a informed decision. So data science gives you the tool and the scientific methods to convert this raw data, raw unstructured data, into a structured data that is trying to figure out the pattern and the giving the insight, making the conversion part. The data science comes into play. So data science acts as a tool. So next, jumping to ethical hacking. So you all would have come across this term hacking. We would have seen it in movies being portrayed, hackers coming, just trying to get into some security system, breaking into a bank, and heist-related movies. So similarly, ethical hacking is nothing but ethical. The word stands for doing the right thing. So hacking something for the right cause. So the reason why ethical hacking is required is so that it helps us to understand the vulnerabilities where and all there's a loophole in the system, in the network, or in the application, so that I fix it, I figure it out. I just think in the perspective of a hacker, in the perspective of a criminal, so that I just think how the criminal thinks, how he approaches the network. I just think in the same pattern and I try to fix the vulnerabilities there. So ethical hacking also has got a huge applications. So one major application is in the finance and banking sector. So you all are aware of this internet banking, internet transactions happening. So if the internet transaction system network is little weak, or if there's any vulnerability in the system, the hacker can hack in and they can steal my money or steal my data. So their ethical hacking is required in like huge numbers, or it plays a major role. So even before the hacker comes in or the culprit comes and thief come in and attack the system, I just try to attack the system and figure out, okay, where there is a vulnerability, and I just pass on the information to the software developer, and it tries to fix the problem. And softwares, now let's say I'm using this Zoom software. So if there is a vulnerability with the software, I have given my personal information with Zoom. Zoom has my picture, it has my phone number, it has my name, and it has also got my email ID and date of birth. So if the system is weak, an hacker can attack the system, attack the network, attack the software, and they can steal my data. So there, for softwares which has a backend database, so their ethical hackers try to check on the vulnerability of the product, vulnerable network. They try attacking the network, and once they figure out or find there's a vulnerability that can lead to a data leak or a hack, they'll pass on the information to the development team, and they'll work on it and they'll fix it. Similar thing happens with mobile applications as well. So now the next technology is robotics. So robotics are nothing but machines that I design that can help and assist humans. And you can call, even machines can also help us humans, but robotics a little higher of machines. So machines don't have the ability to think and act, whereas robots have the ability to think and act. So that's how robots get differentiated from machines. So there are large number of robotic applications. So one is in the industry, where in the manufacturing industries, where you have huge robotic arms that is used for manufacturing the manufacturing components or parts, anything. And then in the medical purpose, you have medical field, you do have surgical robots. So these robots provide high level of precision and helps in undergoing or carrying out complex operations. And in the space field, space industry, you would have come across this Curiosity rover, Mars rover. So Curiosity rover was sent first, and now recently they sent a Perseverance rover. So these robots are used, were deployed and are deployed in Mars for exploring the surface of Mars and finding out the possibility of life in Mars. And the military applications, you do have surveillance drones used for surveilling the borders and also the more vulnerable areas. And in agriculture, it's used for crop monitoring and then pesticide spreading and stuff. Now coming to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something similar to ethical hacking, but ethical hacking is more focused towards software, whereas cybersecurity is the entire internet as a whole. So if, let's say, any system that's connected to the internet, I can access the system being at any point or at any place in the world. Let's say now my computer is connected to the internet. Now a person sitting in, I'm located in India, and a person who's sitting in US can access my system if my system is connected to the internet. So that's the biggest advantage and disadvantage of the internet. So trying to figure out the vulnerabilities present in the entire internet, so preventing your software, your operating system, or any application from hackers that is connected to the internet. So that's what cybersecurity is all concerned about. So now next is blockchain. So blockchain has been a buzz very recently. People have been going crazy because when I say blockchain, the first thing people relate to is cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is one major application of blockchain. So blockchain is nothing but more focused on decentralizing the network. So I just don't want to get much technical into this because it will be a little confusing. I'll just put it in simple words. So every school will have a student ledger, or it will have a record of all the students who are studying there in the school. Or else instead just make it this way. Every student will be getting a report card. So every school will have a report card or the mark database, which has all the marks of the student, which he has scored over a period of time, over academic year or two. So let's assume the entire data is stored in one system. So there's no any other copy. So what happens if the system gets destroyed or the hard disk gets corrupted or something happens, the system malfunctions, I'm not able to retrieve the data. So all my data is lost. So let's take another case where if somebody else goes and tries to hack the system and try to change the values of their marks that they have got in the exam, or tries to tamper the data. So nobody will be able to figure out because there's only one data. So now instead, let's say I just have five computers located at different positions or different locations. And I put this entire database into all these five systems. Now, if one system gets destroyed or gets corrupted, still I have four backups left. If somebody comes and tries to hack the system and tamper with the data or change the data gets changed only in one system. The remaining four systems, the data doesn't get changed. So I can just verify with that and I can figure out, okay, there has been a data tamper here and some malpractice has happened. So similarly, this concept, deploying it in a huge scale. So instead of five systems, if I have like 5 lakhs or 5 crore or 50 lakhs or 5 million computers, if my data stayed in 5 million computers, there's no way possible that I can hack or change the value or or tamper the information. So this is what blockchain is all about. It's to put in simple words, it is nothing but decentralization. So instead of keeping all my data at one place, at a centralized place, and just spreading it out to different places, a copy of the same record into different in multiple places, so that if I lose one data, I'll have access to the other ones, and there's no way one person can change value in all the millions of computers. So major application is cryptocurrency, and in supply chain monitoring and logistics, it plays a major role. So supply chain is nothing but maintaining, let's say I run a supermarket. If I sell noodles, if I have 100 noodles packet, if one day 50 people, a person comes and purchases 50 noodles packet, I'm short of 50 noodles packet. So I'll have to order another 50 noodles packet from the manufacturer so that I can stock up, I can have the stock as 100. So maintaining this order is what we call supply chain. So the next application is Internet of Things. So this is the final technology that we'll be seeing. Internet of Things is nothing but connecting all your devices, all your physical systems to the internet. So one example is you can call Alexa, where you connect Alexa and you can connect a smart LED to the Alexa. You can connect a speaker, you can connect a TV. So using my Alexa, I can just control my bulb. I say Alexa, turn on light, the light turns on. I say Alexa, turn off light, the light turns off. So connecting all my physical system to my internet, to the internet is what I call Internet of Things. So I have multiple physical systems connected to the internet so that I can get data from all those devices. So major application is like in agriculture. Agriculture where I have a plot, I have a farm, I just insert, I put in sensors at each point, and then using those sensors, I connect these sensors, these devices to the internet. I can sit in one remote place and I can view the data. I can say I can get data something like the humidity in the air and the moisture of the soil, the temperature of the soil and temperature in the air, and I can read the state of the plant, the temperature of the plant. So you can get all such data. And healthcare, very recently, the smartwatch has been going crazy. People been largely buying smartwatches. Smartwatch is also an application of internet of IoT, because you got a smartwatch. With smartwatch, you can get your heart rate, you can get a blood pressure, you can check your oxygen level. So everything is connected. So that's connected to my phone, that's connected to my laptop. All my data is put on the internet. I can sit in one place. I can send the data to my doctor. He can go through the data and analyze and can give me feedback. And fleet management is nothing but your courier service. So let's say Amazon, Flipkart have their own courier service. Hypothetically speaking, they may have, they may not have, but let's assume they have their own courier service. They have a fleet of delivery trucks. So now I have to figure out if I have sensors or devices placed or fixed inside each delivery truck, I can sit in one remote location, and when these devices are connected to the internet, I can get data, okay, which truck is delivering to which place, so that I can manage my inventory and manage my supply chain accordingly. And I can know which delivery truck is idle, it doesn't have any work, so I can assign it to work. So it's helpful in such use cases. So that's it about that's it about the future technologies. So over to you, Lakshmi. So Lakshmi will be briefing you on the different entrance exams that's available for you.
Yeah, thank you, Arun. So let me share my screen. So hi, children. A very warm good evening to all. So before starting the discussing about the entrance examinations, the competitive examinations for you. So I would like to ask, have any one of you planned about your career, what you are going to do after your 12th? So this may be a very important question. Maybe you have thought about it a lot. So can you please just raise your hands? How many of you have decided or make decisions based on their career? 17, 19, 17 out of 160 is very less in number. So I think most of you are studying in 11th or 12th. So your school life is going to end and you're in another part, you're going to start your college life. So maybe our parents, teachers, everyone, while we were studying in 10th, maybe our parents, teachers, everyone has told us your 10th mark is very much important. So we already thought about it and we have come to 11th and 12th. So till now you have written examinations, which was just a part of your school curriculum. You just wrote the exams to get promoted, or maybe you won rank number 1 in your class or something like that. Now, these are the examinations, these competitive examinations or the exams you're going to write after +2 are going to decide your career. It is going to decide your life. So these are the most important examinations. So you should be much informed about these exams. You have to collect, you have to do a very good research. You have all the available resources with you. You have your mobile phones, you have your systems, you have 24/7 internet connection and all. So you have to do a good research before choosing a career. Whether it's engineering, medicine, or some CA or anything, you have to do a good research. And you have to analyze yourself and find out whether that career suits for you. It's not like you wish to be a doctor. You have to understand about the difficulties, what are the advantages, your family time will be less and all. So you have to do a very good analysis, and after that only you have to decide about your career. So let's see some of the competitive examinations after your class 12th. So you'll have different number of examinations. I think most of you are aware about some of these examinations I have written, maybe NEET, JEE or something. So let's start with engineering itself. So for the science students, for the PCM, physics, chemistry, mathematics students, who are the future engineers. So the most common at the national level entrance examination is the JEE, Joint Entrance Examination, being conducted by the National Testing Agency. There are two types of examination. There is JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. So for this year, 2021, there was 4 exams, 4 sessions. So each session is giving you a chance to improve. And about 20+ lakh of students, 20 lakh of students have registered for the examination. And about 2.5 to 3 lakh of students have written all the 4 attempts. So think about the competition, or think about the number of students you are going to compete with. Till now, you have only competed with maybe 60 or 70 or 100 students in your school, maybe in your area, in your locality, your friends and all. Now you are going to write an examination with 20+ lakhs of competence. This joint entrance examination is the examination for engineering at a national level. So different states are also conducting examinations. Like Kerala, we have the KEAM examinations. Then Telangana state is also having the examination, UP. So you need to have a good analysis about all these examinations. If you're planning to go for engineering, there is a national level examination. There are state level examination. So you should discuss, or you should think about the states which you will be able to study. So you can go for that. Then there are university level entrance examination. Maybe with STAT or Amrita University, we are conducting our own entrance examination. Then there are exams of defense academies and also this BTech course. So you should have a good research. You have to know, you have to have an idea about different exams you need to write. You're opting for JEE, but it's like you may or may not get that seat. And after the JEE means only 2 to 3 lakh of students are getting that opportunity to write the advanced. So you should have a backup plan. So once you have decided you're going to become an engineer, it's not like engineering, any profession. You have decided to be a chartered accountant. So you have to think about which all are the institutes. After deciding on the career, you have to research on the institutes or what are the facilities of the institute, whether it's NAAC accredited, NBA accredited, what are the placement facilities there. All these details you need to have an idea about. Then only you have to choose the institution. So there is a lot of work to do behind. There is a lot of research a student has to do before choosing their particular career. So now moving on to the next important profession, that is medicine for the PCB students. So we have the NEET examination, that is All India Examination, NEET, National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test. It's for the different medical courses, whether it's MBBS, BDS, or whether it's the naturopathy, that is, or Unani medicine or Ayurvedic Siddha medicine, and all those there are having entrance examination. So earlier there was university examinations, like maybe AIIMS was conducting separate exams, JIPMER was conducting examinations. So now this NEET has taken or scrapped all the other entrance examinations, and from the year 2020 there will be only NEET. So there is only one examination, one entrance examination. So think about the competence. To be one or to get a seat in any of these medical colleges in the merit basis, it's not an easy task. So you have to start earlier. You have 2 years with you, maybe your 11th and 12th, or start from after in your 10th vacations. Now moving on to the next course, it's the pharmacy courses. So I have already told you, like, you should have a backup plan. So for the PCB students, you have opted for medicine. So in any of the courses, if you're not allotted, there is an option like pharmacy. So for this pharmacy, there are state level examinations being conducted by different states. Kerala, there is scheme. Almost all the examinations for the pharmacy exams are similar to that of the medical examination. In some states in our country, there are no entrance examinations. They'll get their students admitted through their +2 mark. So in that situation also, you should have a very good score in your +2. And for writing each of these entrance examinations, there will be some eligibility criteria. You should have maybe for JEE 75% marks in your 12th. And they'll be asking for individual marks in each subject. You should have this much marks in physics, chemistry, or mathematics. So while choosing any career option, you should focus on whether what are the national level examinations, whether states are conducting some examinations, whether university level exams are there, whether any organizations like defense or any other organizations are conducting examinations for their institutes. So there will be different level of analysis you have to do. Among the study for the top level or the national level exam, hope for the best, but maybe if you're not getting a seat through that, there will be some other options, some other backup plans with you. After pharmacy, the most important profession, the honorable profession, nursing, is there. You can get admission to nursing through this NEET examination, which is the medical entrance. So there is another option for you. The NAIMS, JIPMER are conducting different examinations for the nursing admission. Army is conducting examinations for the nursing. And some universities, some different states are conducting examinations. So you need to focus on all these things before deciding on a course. It's not like I want to do something or I love doing this, so I'll become a doctor. It's not like that. You have to go through the pros and cons of each of them. And then you have to decide on which profession you have to choose. So agriculture. So now a profession which is being opted by a large number of students. ICAR examination, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, All India Entrance Examination as well. So it's there for PCM students and PCB students. Most of them have thought like, I'm a PCB student and I'll go for agriculture. There are opportunities or there are options for the PCB students also in this agriculture area, agriculture research area. So for the Yeah, so for the biology students, there is options like you can go for agriculture courses, horticulture, fisheries, forestry, home science, agriculture, food science, biotechnology, etc. So for those students who have maths in their hand, they can go for the other set of courses, whether it's agricultural engineering, dairy technology, agricultural marketing, corporation, forestry, food science, biotechnology. So it's not like what you have chosen after your 10th examination. You have only opted for, you have science, that to PCM or PCB is there, you have commerce, you have humanities. The options are very less. Maybe computer commerce, some options will be there. Now you have a wide door with n number of opportunities. You have to analyze each and every one of them, and then you have to decide. Then for the veterinary sciences. So there is All India Pre-Veterinary Test AIPVT. So for Bachelor of Veterinary Science, you can go for this examination. There are also some states which are conducting statewide examinations. So now next is law. CLAT and LSAT are the two most common or the most famous examinations which is in India. Common law admission test or the law school admission test. Both of them are national level examinations conducted by different universities or some consortium of some colleges. There are state level examinations for this also. Kerala is conducting separate examinations. Telangana state entrance exam is there. Andhra Pradesh examination is there. Some universities, low universities are also conducting examinations. Some bar councils and all India Bar Council, there is examination from their side also. So beside choosing or without analyzing anything, just go, don't go for a decision. Do proper research, take good time, and then choose one among this. Then the other category is design. For the designing courses, we have All India Entrance Examination for Design, AIED. There is NIFT exam also. So these exams are having different tests or different exams. Means there are different rounds. General aptitude test is there, then CAT is there, personal interaction is there. So we have never thought about it. Like after +2, I'm going for some course. I need to have a good idea in the logical thinking, in my English, in my aptitude, in my... So different courses, verbal ability, all this will be asked during this design examination. So there are different areas for you to explore. You need to explore it in the right way, and then you have to take a decision. So after this design courses, some of the courses is like Bachelor of Design, Fashion Design, Interior Design, Jewelry Design, Craft and Accessory Design, Bachelor of Virtual Arts, Applied Arts. All these are some of the courses coming under the AIED entrance examination. So now moving on to the commerce students, these are most important exams a commerce student can face. For the CA, there is common proficiency test. Then company secretary executive entrance examination is there. CMA is there. Integrated program and management, IP math is there. So all these are the exams a commerce student can write. Then for the art students also, there are different n number of opportunities. HSCE exam is there, national test is there, regional, different universities, the Rajasthan universities, all those universities are conducting their own entrance examinations for the students. So you have to have an analysis about where you have to study, what type of institution you have to study, what are the placement opportunity they are giving. And some students will be interested in completing their career abroad. There are colleges who have this foreign exchange program, international collaborations. Maybe for your final year project, you have been sent abroad to some country. You will get some good knowledge in that and all. So for this, you need to study about the different institutions, different universities, what are the facilities given by them, and what are the courses. So without thinking about all this, don't go for a course or don't select a course. It will strictly depend on what all are the, it strictly depend after a complete analysis of all these things. And there was one question in the chat box, I saw it like a student is studying in, he has completed his 12th commerce. So is he eligible to do BCA? So he's eligible to do BCA, the eligibility criteria, you can just simply Google the eligibility criteria. It is like irrespective of your streams, whether it's arts, commerce, whether it's commerce, science or something, you are eligible for the BCA admissions. And someone was asking opportunities after BCom. You can go for CA, company secretary, then Master of Commerce is there, the PG is there, business accounting, taxation courses is there. There are some very few duration courses also after BCom, which can earn a good amount for you. So do your good research and then go for choosing your career, irrespective of what are all the means. You have to consider your financial background and all those details also while choosing the career. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to discuss is how you are going to prepare for an entrance examination. You know, there are a lot of students writing this entrance examination. So you should adopt some strategy that should be very much effective, or that should be helping you to crack that exam. There are different methods to study. So let's discuss some of them. So we can see what are the effective exam preparation strategies. So the first thing, while you have chosen a career, whether it's engineering or anything, you have to believe in yourself. You have to be that confident. You have to choose a branch from your side itself. Your parent is asking you to go for medicine or engineering. Don't choose it like that. Just talk with them and just choose a branch which is only interested by you, not for your parents' interest. Don't study with your parents' interest. You yourself are going to struggle in the end. So you have to believe in yourself. If you have chosen engineering, you have to write NEET or JEE. So you have to believe in yourself, or you have to do it for yourself. You have to set a goal. That is important. That goal is very important in this section. So after setting the goal, try to achieve that goal or try to pass that examination. So you have to keep going. There will be any number of hurdles. You may feel unmotivated sometimes. You may feel stressed. You may be depressed, and maybe in some exams you will score very bad. But irrespective, then keep your goal. Your goal should get you always motivated, and you should try to reach it. So the first thing, whether you have chosen an entrance examination or not, the first thing you have to do in your life is you have to believe in yourself, and you have to do everything for yourself only. Only that will come to the end, or only that will work out. So you should have, or you should identify what is your worth, and you should not quit. You should try harder. Maybe in the JEE exam, if you have tried 3 attempts and you can't score good, maybe there is one more attempt. Try harder for that attempt, and maybe you get admitted to some NIT or IIT. And one more thing I want to tell you is, this is something serious. We have, I don't know how much I can tell this to you. This is your career, and you have to take it very seriously, because it's not like you're doing some course. It's like this course is the rest of your life. You have to think it in that way. This course is which is affecting you to be in your 60s, 70s, or 80s of age. So these are your life choices. You have to be very serious, and you have to choose it. So the research work a student has to do to identify the area is very, very important. And in our times and all, we don't have that much resources or these facilities. Now you have all the facilities in your hands. So just use them wisely. And one more thing I can tell you is, if you're passionate about something, there are options to change your passion as career. So you can also opt for that. But consider all the factors, how much it is going to earn, how much you are going to earn in a month, and all those factors. Consider all those factors and then take a decision. So now we'll move on to the exam preparation. So what all are the steps you need to focus? So I'll just read out some steps and then we can go in detail. The first thing is plan well. The second one, time management. Choose subjects wisely, short notes, mock test, revision. So you'll think about all these points I have just mentioned. You already know it. I know that you have an idea about it. So the first thing is planning. So what should I plan? Once I have set a goal, I need to pass this NEET and I need to get admitted in this institution. So what all exams are you going to concentrate? If it's engineering, there are multiple level of examinations. So all those examinations that you need to consider. Then you need to go for the syllabus of the exam. You can go for the previous year question papers. What is the question paper pattern? How many questions from each part? Whether it's multiple choice questions or whether it's essay type of questions. There are entrance examinations which is asking essay type of questions. What will be the duration of this test? Whether you are giving separate duration for each test. Whether it's like you are given a test and it ends by 1 hour. Or it's like there is 30 minutes for one subject, 40 minutes for one subject, and another 30 minutes for one subject. You have to concentrate on that. What will be the duration? What are the marking schemes? Is there negative marking, or how much is the negative mark? So if there is negative marking, you have to be very cautious while you are writing the examination. And you have to also think about the mode of examination, whether it's online, whether it's offline, and all these things. So all these things you need to consider while you're putting up a plan. So if you come up with a plan, that's fine. And after that, you should implement it. If the planning is done pakka, then it is halfway done. You need to just implement the plan and you need to go with the plan. So the first thing is setting up the goal, and then you have to plan according to it. So if you're 11th student, you can start researching now itself. If you're a 10th student also, you can start researching now itself. So it will give you enough time to set a goal. So after planning, it's the most important thing, that is time management. So you all will think like today, after my classes, I'm home, I'll start studying from tomorrow. We all do this thing. We all will procrastinate our task. Don't go for it. We'll end up with the bulk of tasks. It's very bad to do that. So once you have planned proper, once you have a proper timetable, do try to follow it. The thing is that if you follow the timetable, it can make you more disciplined. So you have to use the time wisely. And also you have to plan on, you have the question paper with you and you're going to write the examination. You have to also plan during the time of examination, how you're going to write the question. There are 90 questions. How much time I'm going to give for one question? If maths is my tough subject, how much time I'm going to allow to study maths? All these factors need to be considered. So the time is, we all know time is money. So we have to use it very wisely in order to be in a good position in our life. Then the next thing is choose subjects wisely. There are short notes and the smart study. Okay, I'll tell you, if I'm a PCB student and me myself is very bad at my mathematics. So I need to concentrate on mathematics, that I have to have in my mind, and I need to allot more time for mathematics. Then these short notes, maybe the equations and all, I should write it in short notes. It will help me in my revision time. And the next most important thing is smart study. It's like each people's study methodology may be different. Someone will be interested in combined study, someone will study in the last minute, but it's more effective. So you have developed a method of study from this period. Please follow that and include the smart techniques. Maybe remembering techniques, how to memorize that things and all. So you can use all these techniques to learn. And the next important part is mock test. Yeah, I have studied all the things and I'm pakka. I have studied from chapter 1 to chapter 20, everything, and I have covered everything. But while writing the examination only, you'll get an idea about what has happened. So the mock test is very, very important. You don't know how to write 90 questions in 60 minutes. So practice more by taking more and more mock test. And also revise, maybe in 2 weeks time or 1 month, you have to do a revision for all the things you have studied for this entrance examination. So mock test and revision is also important. So at times we'll just get demotivated. So one thing you have to do is you have to motivate yourself and be strong, be confident, and all the best. So we, the Amrita team, we wish you all the success and choose your career wisely. All the best, students.
Thank you, Ms. Lakshmi. Team NI would like to thank the school management, principal, teachers, and students for taking time and participating in today's Margadarshi Career Counseling Workshop in association with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Once again, special thanks to Mr. Sudhir, Mr. Arun, and Ms. Lakshmi from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham for giving an insight on the various career options available and information on blooming technologies and on competitive exams after 12th standard. Would request students to get in touch with the Amrita team for any clarification in the given email ID, or you can contact your teacher in charge for any queries. Once again, thanks to RMK Patishala, MCC School, VGN Chinmaya Vidyalaya Virgambakam, and Ramchandra Public School. Happy evening. Thank you all.